Become a RealCatholicTV.com premium member. It's all the news that isn't fit to print.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Obamacare on Campus. The Obama administration is supporting the rampant fornication taking place on college campuses across America by covering contraceptives for all female students under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The Department of Health and Human Services says its new regulation, finalized under Obamacare at the beginning of the weekend, will impose itself on colleges and their student health care plans under the same model that forces contraception on religious institutions. The mandate for student health care plans will cover all contraceptives approved by the Food and Drug Administration, as well as providing free surgical sterilization procedures for all and abortion-causing contraceptives like the morning after pill. This newest regulation originated as a suggestion from the Institute of Medicine, an arm of Health and Human Services that resides under the National Academy of Sciences, hired by the Obama administration last year to come up with ideas to force contraception on all Americans. Abortion's human trafficking. The brains of aborted babies are now approved for use as, quote, raw material for science experiments, with full permission from the Food and Drug Administration. In its press release, Stem Cells Incorporated objectifies the brain tissue of the dead children as, quote, purified human neural stem cell product, announcing that the cells will be used in an effort to cure macular degeneration or degenerative loss of sight by injecting the brain tissue into the eyes of experimental patients. Executive Director of Minnesota Citizens Concern for Life, Scott Fischbach, says, quote, developing human beings in the womb are treated simply as raw material for laboratory experimentation by Stem Cells Incorporated and other companies seeking to monetize aborted unborn children, end quote. The FDA's approval of child dissection for such purposes is simply creating a demand for trafficking of aborted babies in today's sacrilegious scientific marketplace. School voucher challenge. Public school teachers in Indiana say that a voucher program that allows parents to choose Catholic schools over public schools must be unconstitutional, as their lawsuit against the program heads to state Supreme Court. You may remember the Indiana State Teachers Association is challenging a law that gives state-funded vouchers to kids in low-performing public schools so that they can go to private schools. And since the private school parents are choosing to send their children to schools associated with churches, public school teachers claim the program violates the separation of church and state. After a county superior court judge upheld the law in court, Indiana Attorney General Greg Zeller is asking the state Supreme Court to take the case directly, defending its legality in his capacity as Attorney General. Zeller has until April 11th to file briefs in the case, though it is unclear when the state Supreme Court will hold a hearing. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
International Court upholds true marriage. The European Court of Human Rights is delivering a strong message to homosexual activists on the continent, as a new ruling says that only married couples may adopt. In a related ruling, the court also states that same-sex marriage is not a right, according to the European Convention on Human Rights. The decision comes on the heels of a recent French court ruling that says same-sex couples are not, quote, married, and non-married couples may not adopt. These rulings impact 47 member states of the European Union who belong to the European Convention on Human Rights, and who in turn accept decisions made by the European Court of Human Rights. Texas suing Obama. The Obama administration is in the throes of court battle as the state of Texas sues the administration for closing down a women's health program, just because the state is holding back funds to clinics that provide abortion. Texas Governor Rick Perry, former presidential candidate, has expressed concern over the dispute because many poor individuals will suffer as a result of the closures, saying, quote, "This is about life and the rule of law, which Texas respects and the Obama administration does not," end quote. This lawsuit is clear regarding the actions of the White House, calling them both unconstitutional and coercive because states have the right to deny funding to elective abortion providers. The suit was filed in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Texas only one day after the Obama administration started closure of the Texas Women's Health Program. The spokeswoman for the Texas Democratic Party, Rebecca Acuna, says that Perry is, quote, "wagering women's health in their political game of chicken," end quote, while Perry has clearly stated that Texas will fund the Women's Health Program, with or without federal funding. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. Also be sure to check out The Vortex, where Michael breaches a topic mostly feared and deeply involved in individual personal morality. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.